I'm Eli, and I make games. So I enjoy doing game jams, and most of them I've done with pretty good. All of them, I've seen problems, obviously. No one's perfect. But the Game Maker's Toolkit 2021 was a different experience. And yeah. So before we start here, I just want to say real quick, subscribe. I'm going to be very YouTuber here. I don't know why, but I think something stupid like 62% of you just aren't subscribed. And it makes me sad. Okay, have you clicked it? Thank you. So at 1 p.m. CST on Friday, June 11th, the theme was announced. I was off. The theme was pretty similar to other themes I've seen, and it did disappoint me a little bit, but nonetheless, I joined. The theme was Join Together. Immediately, I had an idea which seemed pretty simple. Constellation puzzle game where you draw lines between stars to make constellations, but the lines couldn't cross. This wasn't mechanically that complicated, and I could focus more on visuals and sound for once. But alas, that did not happen. When I started the project, I decided I would use Unity because I've used the line rendering before. I wanted it to be semi-3D using 2D, but 3D elements or whatever. I thought it would look cool aesthetically, but I just couldn't get the main mechanic working. So instead, I tried to use GDevelop, but that also didn't work for whatever reason. I tried to look through documentation on both engines and I synced and asked questions in respective discords, and I just couldn't get it working. So I figured I would just come up with another idea and do that instead. After all, it was pretty early on. So I was still on day 1. In that first 24 hours, when I had previously... all that happened. Yeah, so it seemed pretty rational to come up with a new idea and just go from there. After all, there's still quite a bit more time left. So I started to brainstorm other ideas. That's when I faced creative block. Yeah, I had some ideas, but most of them I just couldn't reasonably figure out how the mechanics would work. And other ideas I would try out, but something random thing would pop up during the prototyping that completely tore the idea down. Not to mention the fact that I couldn't access the computer I used for about 14 hours. It just didn't really help. So at about 11 a.m. on Saturday, I about gave up. Until... Now, from what you just heard, you must think that I was torn down so much that it would be irrational to keep going, to come back. I was just too long gone. Yet, I persevered. Now, one of the things that I didn't want to do was make a platformer in GDevelop. I've done this so much, it's generic, boring, yeah, whatever. So instead, I made a Metroidvania platformer in GDevelop. Yes, that is in air quotes. So I was just going to throw art out the door and just focus on mechanics and the level design. Whoop whoop. I wasn't going to neglect sound, but I ended up not having enough time for sound. So I just chugged through the development of this small experience and made an alright game. Not the greatest, not the worst. Now, after hearing that, you might be wondering, what is this game? So I guess I could probably tell you, So I'll tell you. The final game ended up being a Metroidvania platformer thing. Yes, very intuitive. The idea originally was that you can switch between two characters to open doors for one another so that you could get to the end. Problem being, for whatever reason, I didn't add doors and switches. I don't know why. It really makes me question what I was doing, but still you can switch between characters, and each character has to get to the end to win, and yeah, there was quite a lot of problems in development. First of all, and most glaringly, I didn't have time to add sound. Now I really wanted to have sound and not neglect it like most of my other games. But sadly, that didn't happen. I also didn't add the door mechanic for whatever reason, which it kinda took away the point of the game, but still. And I also wanted to add enemies to attack, but all my attempts on basic move back and forth enemy AI didn't really work. For whatever reason, collision just acted weird, which just made it not work. Nonetheless, the game is still fine, which is why you should play it right now after finishing this video with the link in the description. So, it was the end of the gym when I was uploading my game. Only a couple hours left, and well, itch.io made the very rational decision, it was kind of up there, being a website and stuff, seeing all these games flooding in through the floodgates of Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jams, and I was like, no, Eli, you shan't put your game on our website. So yeah, itch decided it was a great time to break and not let me upload my game. So finally, after a lot of tries, I was able to upload my game, but then I realized something. My scene order was wrong, meaning that I had to change the game a bit to fix that and re-upload the builds. I did. It took even longer than last time, and I ended up doing it the next morning. Mind you, time zones are weird with this jam, so I went to bed late and then got up early, and I was like, whoa! I still can't do it! But finally, I did. And the jam was finished. So was this jam an absolute train wreck? Yes. Very. But I was still able to do something out of it. I ended up making an okay game. It's not that great, but still it's fine. So go check out the game if you want, and there will be a link in the description. And while you're at it, check out my other, probably better games. So yeah, if you like. If you don't, and subscribe. Peace.